Hey hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to the recap video for the 8th round of the Multi-Class Endurance Championship. This was held on R.O.N Raceway. There was a 0% chance of rain, so we didn't have to worry about that for this time. The vehicles that we were driving were the Muscle Class. GT1s were in the Dominator, GT2s were in the Gauntlet, and GT3s were in the Nightshade. We'll just get straight into the action. Obviously the Xbox One side was probably the second biggest of the controversies, I would say, throughout the course of the weekend. You probably saw it on the highlights video. It was a really intense race between myself and Calavera all the way through. It was a really good race, probably one of my better performances, to be honest. And it was just a shame that it ended up, the battle that we had ended up stopping because of Trumpet Master, the GT2 driver, basically crashing into me. Do I think it was, having looked back at it, do I think it was on purpose? No, I don't. At the time, when you see something like that, obviously you looked about the fact that it was his teammate, about the fact that your entire race is just being completely ruined, and it was such a good battle up until that point. So, there is always that aspect there that, of course, you're frustrated. But when I look back at it, yes, it was a stupid thing to do, and he's had a penalty, a grid place penalty for pretty bad driving during that round, because he took out a few other GT3 drivers who were battling for the lead there. So he was just having a bad round in general. But do I think really that he did anything on purpose because it was his teammate I was battling against? Probably not. I can't say for sure, but I'm not quite as harsh on him as my initial reaction was during that video. But you could probably understand my reaction because of the situation that it was. But it was just a shame, really, that the battle that we had all the way through the race was ruined because of that incident. And yeah, it was just, it was a bit of a nightmare, because so close on so many occasions in these races to getting those wins, and to finish second again, it was a bit of a nightmare. But it was a good race nevertheless. Calavera had a great race and put in a great performance to get that win. He was very comfortable all the way through. And it was just as I was starting to catch up to him and maybe put on a little bit more pressure than I had throughout the rest of the race that incident sort of brought an end to that. In the GT2 side for Xbox One, we had King Blaze with a big win there ahead of Blodia X5. Those two are pretty much battling for the championship, or at least will be. In third place was Trumpet Master in the end, despite all of his issues and incidents that he had throughout the course of that race. But yeah, a big win by King Blaze, and he seems to have some great pace in that GT2 field. He either wins by a lot or the GT2 field is quite strange, I think, on the Xbox One side, because there's always generally big gaps between the top 2 or 3, but they're different people who have those gaps, so there's different winners every time. And obviously we'll focus on the championship standings in a little while as well. In GT3, we had Wolfie Bigtail take another victory. His third victory of the season ahead of Ducati Doctor, and in third place we had Smack666, who that was his best performance of the season since round 1, where he got a second place. So good performance from him. And that when we look at the championship standings, you'll see that GT3 battle is pretty crazy. But we'll move on to the championship now. I'm still in the lead of GT1, but the two behind me, Calavera and Crazy Man, have some blank scores to drop. So at this point I wouldn't even put myself as a favourite. I just can't get those wins that are needed, and wins, those 15 points for the wins, are so valuable and so vital that I would say that Calavera and Crazy Man in second and third have better chances of getting those and ending up taking the title overall. So yeah, I'm not particularly confident. It's nice to have been at the top of the championship for so long, but those seconds and thirds just aren't enough, really, when you've got other people winning the races. In GT2, Blodia X5 is in the lead at the moment, and by quite a few points ahead of King Blaze, but that's because King Blaze has an extra score that he hasn't dropped, and he also has a score of 2 as well. So once the last 2 rounds are completed, those scores will all be dropped and won't factor into his total score, assuming he doesn't sort of quit or disconnect or not show up or anything. So it's going to be close in the GT2 battle as well. That's certainly not over anytime soon. And GT3, as I mentioned, is even closer than that. 84 points for Squillum 93 in the lead, 81 points for Wolfie, and 76 points for Ducati Doctor. Any of those three can definitely win the championship, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. The team championship for Xbox One, we have Preservex still leading that by quite a significant margin, ahead of Vanilla Unicorn and my team, which is the R.O.N Racing team. Now for the PC side, in GT1, Doom Penguin got a massive lead here, massive victory, 15 points for him, pretty much almost secures him the title. We'll see that in when the championship standings are shown. But Super Stepper got a good second place there, with Fab Iceman in third place. Avivo, who is pretty much the fourth guy in that four-way battle for the title. He disconnected, unfortunately. I think he disconnected from second or third place, so that was a big shame. But yeah, Doom Penguin was a pretty standout winner in this round. In GT2, we had Benimi, who was new to the GT2 Championship in round 6. He was also a GT1 reserve, but is probably more closer to GT2 pace because he only got like sort of 2 or 3 points every time he reserved in GT1. He got his first victory in GT2. He's done 3 rounds now, and yeah, good performance from him. He didn't have the ultimate pace. Jay Santos, who is a PS4 GT2 driver, he was reserving this round, and he actually had a better best lap time than Benimi, but Benimi just got out in front and was able to manage that gap. But Jay Santos did get a good second place, which is certainly better than the results he's managed to get on PS4, so good to see him get a podium there. And in third place was Michiski, who and that again cements his great performances this season, as we'll see when I show the championship standings. For GT3, I managed to get the win there, which was lucky, to be honest. I think, I mean, I was so fatigued and so tired after that first race in the Dominator on the Xbox One side that I was really feeling it by the time we got to the PC race, and I only just managed to hold on, but wow, it was so close at the end, and after making so many mistakes in the last, say, half hour of the race, I ultimately did have the pace, and that's what allowed me to get out in front and build a big gap, but that just gradually got eroded more and more. Unfortunate to Tron Brecker and John, who were putting in good performances in sort of second and third area positions, so they probably would have been on the podium once again, but they unfortunately disconnected. And it was Brad Starr who ended up getting the second place. He's had some good performances and had some disconnections as well, so good to see him get a second place there, with Prutug getting his another third place, his second third place of the season. So, you know, taking advantage of those disconnections and being there to get the points when those disconnections happen. When it comes to the championship, this is the PC side. We've already got two classes where the championship is already over. So as you can see, the first place position is already marked with the gold background there. But I'll talk about the GT1 side. Basically, Doom Penguin can only be beaten by Super Stepper at this point. The 91 points that he has is unbeatable by anybody but Super Stepper with that 75. He has to basically win the next 2 races and have Doom Penguin have some pretty bad results as well. We'll see how that works out. Doom Penguin is pretty good at getting those consistently quick results and getting those wins. So his first couple of rounds where he got those 2 wins in rounds 1 and 2 really set him up well for the season. He hasn't had a win since then until round 8, but yeah, that win really did put him in a prime position to take home the title, and yeah, that's a big gap for Super Stepper to try and catch up to, but you know, we'll see what happens. The GT2 battle, this is the first championship that is already over. Michiski has won that title. It doesn't matter what happens to anybody else. He has a lead that is unbeatable at this point. Nobody can get enough points to overhaul him. So he's got that lead. And well done to him. He's been a standout performer in GT2 on PC throughout the entirety of the season, really. Apart from sort of 1 or 2 disconnections or bad results, he's put in some really great wins and good podium positions, which is exactly what you need for a championship performance. And in GT3, I actually have won the title there. 95 points there is unbeatable by anybody behind in the last 2 rounds. So yeah, we'll see what I might do some extra, maybe team talks or something like that with the rest of my team on PC for those rounds, just to add something extra to it, since the championship is already over. But we'll see what happens there. The Teams Championship on PC, we've got LSDWP in a even bigger lead than Press of X on the Xbox One side. They have pretty much almost got that title. It's going to be very difficult to see anybody else be able to overhaul them at this point. So yeah, the Teams Championship on PC, not really much to shout about there. We'll move on to the PS4 side now. In GT1, the big winner here was Picano. He had an absolutely massive lead. By all accounts, he wasn't able to keep that massive lead throughout the end of the race. He was making some mistakes and losing some time, but he managed to hold out and got another great win, second win of the season. Macy came home in second place, another good podium position there from him. And the Steak Sauce got his first podium of the season after having coming to the championship in round 6. 10 points there from the Steak Sauce. He was in second place for quite a while, but Macy managed to catch him up. Very interesting, the GT1 side this on PS4 this time, because it was very spread out and there wasn't any battles anywhere, it seemed. It was pretty crazy how everybody was just on their own really in GT1. Smithy had a pretty poor round this time, his worst performance of the season, unfortunately for him, as championship leader. But yeah, we'll have to see how that progresses and what the championship standings are like. In GT2, this is probably the most controversial moment, I would say, of the entire weekend. I had a terrible start, obviously. I missed the checkpoint, and I managed to work my way through the field, caught up to Abe. It was about a 13-second gap, and I managed to bring that down to pretty much just over 1 second, as you probably saw on the highlights video. And then, unfortunately, his teammate, El Mister, decided to get involved, his GT1 teammate. He decided to get involved in the battle and pretty much ruin it to make sure that Abe won that race. And again, the frustration of having it seemingly happen on the Xbox One side as well the day before, finishing second there. I got another second place in GT2, you know, so close to getting those wins. And yeah, it was just really, really frustrating because El Mister, he didn't do anything technically against the rules. There isn't a rule in place for that. And the reason that there isn't a rule in place for that is because I honestly did not expect anyone to be that low, frankly, and do something like that. Obviously, you probably saw it in the highlights video. He went into the pits twice. He overtook me multiple times to try and slow me down. He stayed behind Abe for a couple of laps to act as sort of a buffer. And then when Abe lost some time to a GT3 car, he decided to, you know, go on at his normal pace, come in the pits again and overtake me on the second to last lap. That obviously caused, when he went over the finish line as well, that caused me to lose time there. Basically, he lost me a lot of time. I would say he single-handedly lost me the chance to fight for the victory in that race, because I was really closing in the final stages. And you know, I've got to give credit to Abe because he put in a great performance all the way through the race, and he obviously deserved the win because he got the win. And there's nothing to say that I would have been able to overtake him or anything like that, but the chance of me being able to do that after having caught up for the entirety of the race, caught up 13 seconds, put in probably one of my best performances in terms of just outright pace, and then just to have that taken away through shady team tactics is a little bit annoying. And obviously there are rules in place now for that officially, but it's just a shame that, you know, something like this had to happen for that to come into force, because you just don't expect people in a let's say it's a GTA racing championship. Do people really need to be stooping to those low levels? You know, it's just a shame, but hey, it is what it is. I got another second place, which I've got to be happy about it, because I've had some really terrible performances on PC recently, and it's good to have a better performance. But yeah, just always with the second places, never able to get that win. and to have it sort of the chance of it taken away like that was just really annoying. Third place was R.O.N, another good performance to get on the podium from him. With Shred Ninja in fourth place, his second best result of the season, equaling his round 1 performance as well, so good to see him back up there, putting in some good lap times. In GT3, the winner there was I'm Awesome 44, got his first win of the season. Second place was Lucas, who also got his only win of the season this time the last round on R.O.N Raceway, so he obviously enjoys that. But yeah, I'm Awesome put in a really great performance to get his first win, and 40 came home in third place to consolidate his championship lead, and we'll see the championship standings now. For GT1, it's pretty close, to be honest, in GT1. Smithy is in the lead on 86 points. Picano has 78 in second place. I don't think Macy is going to be able to overhaul either of those, but you know, he does have a dropped score and a low scoring round. But I think the title battle in GT1 is going to be between Smithy and Picano. It's going to be really close. Someone mentioned a comment on one of the highlight videos, and I haven't checked it myself, but I think this is the case, that if Picano was to win the next 2 rounds and Smithy was to finish in second, they would both be equal on points. They would both be equal on the number of wins that they have as well. So it would basically go down to the number of second places that they get. So yeah, it could still be very close. Smithy needs to put in a few, solid performances in rounds 9 and 10 to keep that. To keep that lead in GT1. It's not over yet. In GT2, it pretty much is over, almost, I would say. Abe Gunners is a big leader in that. Tom Tad didn't show up again to the round 8 race, and he's since pulled out of the championship as well. So that's a shame that the title isn't going to sort of go down to the wire there. So basically, it's between myself and Abe Gunners. I can still mathematically win the GT2 championship, but the chances of it happening are very, very slim, and I would have to have a team of GT1 drivers driving like El Mister for me to be able to do that and sort of allow Abe to get such low scoring results that what he needs, and I would have to win those races. So yeah, Abe is pretty much on course to win that. And our third championship that is already complete is the GT3 side on PS4. 40 has won that, as you can see there, with 91 points ahead of Jonty and I'm Awesome and Drubert. Are all battling it out for second place there. It's still pretty close to those, but none of those can overhaul the point score that 40 has with only the 2 rounds left to go. So out of the 9 different championships that we've got running, 3 of them have already been decided with 2 rounds still to go. So that's quite interesting. The interesting part of the team's championship on PS4 is that Richards Majestic are now leading that by 4 points ahead of R.O.N. R.O.N are obviously my team, and Richards Majestic consist of 40, the GT3 champion, Abe Gunners, who obviously beat me to first place in that round 8 race, and El Mister as well. So, if anyone's looking for a team to hate, that's probably the team. It is from my perspective, because obviously that the team's tactics there from El Mister weren't just about making me not be able to beat Abe, his teammate, for the race, but were also a way to help the team, his Richards Majestic team, get those points, because if I were to beat Abe, we would have stayed in the lead of the championship. Because of that, Richards Majestic have overtaken us, but there are still 2 rounds to go, and there are only 4 points between us. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how that goes on. Smithy needs to put in some good performances to get the points in GT1. I need to do the same in GT2 and try to beat Abe, more so for the team's championship than anything else, because the chances of me winning the GT2 championship are pretty slim. But R.O.N have never won a team's championship as long as I've been with them. So, as I mentioned, it would be nice to have that. But at the moment, we are 4 points behind. So it's very, very close. And it's certainly the closest in the team's championships across all the platforms. But that's pretty much it. Let me know all your thoughts about all of this down below. What did you think about the round? What do you think about the championships? And those that are already done and dusted, let me know all your thoughts down below. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support as always, and I'll see you next time.